I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
Yes or no? Did you ever take banned substances to enhance your cycling performance?
Yes.
I had no prior knowledge of the planned assault on Nancy Kerrigan.
I am deeply sorry for my irresponsible and selfish behavior I engaged in.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of Oops, the podcast. I am Giulio Gallerati. I'm joined by the legend himself, Francis Ellis. How you doing, Francis?
I'm okay. Well, how about you?
I'm okay.
I got a gripe right off the bat.
Let's hear it.
My grandmother is in New.
All right, keep going.
She's in New Jersey. All right, that's where she lives, and she's in an assisted living facility, but not. I don't think it's like, it's just a place. She's got her own apartment, but it's like they have people on staff who can help out. At the very start of all of this, two elderly people who had an apartment in this place as well, they tested positive for coronavirus in New York City and then decided to leave New York, and they went to that facility where my grandmother is.
Shit.
And now, there are 26 cases at that facility.
Oh, shit.
And it's all elderly people, so it's really bad.
That's very stressful.
They brought it knowing they had it. And every single person at the facility has been ordered to stay inside of their room. They cannot leave. They can't leave their apartment for 2 weeks or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So my poor grandmother is, going stir crazy. They deliver food outside of her door, and then she goes out and picks it up like it's terrible room service. And, she's bored out of her mind, and it's of no fault of her own. And I also read that 35% of the deaths from coronavirus in the United States come from elderly, nursing homes in New Jersey and New York State alone.
Wow.
Can you believe
crazy.
that?
Yeah, I mean,
a third of the coronavirus deaths in the country are coming from elderly homes in New Jersey and New York State.
yeah, it's crazy, man. I'm sorry.
So I feel bad for my poor grandmother. I hate the couple that came to her place with it.
Yeah.
And I'm also thinking, wow, New Jersey and New York are really under siege.
Yeah, man, it's the real deal, unfortunately. I'm sorry, dude. I hope that your grandmother can make it out of there. How old is she?
She's 89.
Okay.
Let me ask you this. What could I do to get back at that couple? Could I let the air out of their tires or beat them up a little bit? I mean, they're old too. I want to do some kind of revenge against them. I want to shit on their windshields or something.
Well, I think before you fill your brain with such negativity, you should find out the specifics of the story first, just in case there's any omissions that would make you feel less angry towards them.
I also think that getting the facts will help me craft my revenge.
It's true. Do you have anything in mind?
Well, let's say, I'm just thinking, I don't think I should hurt them. Although they are killing people. They're murderers, those two people.
Listen, man, if they had just taken that 10 mil 70 years ago, it would be long gone by now. Hit by a train.
Oh, man. I don't know. It's tough. I have one more coronavirus fact for you that I read today.
Hit me.
Well, it's not really a fact so much as an interesting story. So in South Korea, right, they've done a fantastic job of mitigating the spread of the virus through aggressive tracing protocols and comprehensive testing. They can test better than any country.
Right.
But basically, the tracing that they're doing only works because everybody in the country has surrendered their privacy rights over to the government.
Right.
There was a complete and utter sort of submission to the vigilance and the oversight of the government. And the government is, everybody in the country has been required to enable location sharing so that the government knows where they are.
So you can surveil them.
People are assigned a person in the government who calls them and checks in on them, like sometimes 3 times a day.
Wow.
If you're required to submit for testing, and then if you leave your house, you have to bring your phone with you so that the government knows where you are. And if you try to turn off location sharing or leave the house without your phone, you can be fined $10,000 US and subjected to prison time.
Wow.
And so everybody's kind of doing this. Now, over the past weekend, they started to reopen their country, reopen the economy, and there is a neighborhood in Seoul.
I know where this is going, I think.
I think it's called like Itaewok or something.
Like the nightlife area?
Exactly. And one dude, a 29-year-old man, went to 3 different gay nightclubs and may have infected 2,000 people.
Oh my God. I didn't know that the number was that high.
2,000 people. He tested positive.
Wow.
So far now, because they had it really under control, like no new cases, whatever. Yeah. And from this past weekend, there have been like 33 new cases reported from that.
Something. Which is so small, bro, compared to what we're already going through, by the way.
Exactly.
Crazy.
But for them, it's not, because they hadn't seen many. And what's happening is everybody who went to those nightclubs is being asked by the government to report for testing.
Mm-hmm.
But in doing so, they're effectively outing themselves as gay. And it's funny, but it's sad, because South Korea is a notoriously homophobic, conservative country.
Totally.
And a lot of these guys and women are terrified to out themselves. They live their lives as straight men and women, you know, and lie. And some of them are saying that they're afraid they're going to lose their job.
Wow. There
was one guy who, let me find this quote. He wrote, I gotcha. It took me a whole week to get up the courage to get tested. Min Jae-young, 27-year-old, said, I had to practice saying, oh, of course I'm not gay, and even recorded myself several times to sound natural. I even put up photos of footballers and Korean hip-hop artists on my social media accounts to try to seem straight. I even got ready to look for another job. As it turned out, I was not infected, but I cried when I got that text, not because I was happy not to be infected, but because I really hate being a gay man in this country.
Oh, man.
You've got people considering suicide for the first time because of the fact that they're facing this, and it's all pretty horrific. So it begs the question. I have a couple questions for you. One is, if America were to follow, it never would, but you know, if Korea's model is so good about stopping the spread of the coronavirus, right? Mm-hmm. But the trade-off is a complete sacrifice of your civil liberties and your right to privacy. Do you think it's worth it?
It's a good question. I don't know, man. I think yes. I mean, can't you just do it temporarily, like the location thing? Can't that just be happening during this and then not afterward? Like, I don't know. I don't see any reason to be afraid. I mean, I don't know. I guess there is reason to be afraid that they would just be now surveilling you forever. But it seems like a fair trade-off. If tons of people are dying here and they aren't other places because people are willing to sacrifice things, maybe it's something worth considering. I don't know.
Yes, I agree with that. And then my other point would be, if you're so terrified about being outed as gay that you are living this, you know, false life and telling your employer that you're straight and putting up social media posts of like soccer players and whatnot. I'm not gay. Sports.
Dude, the other one is tits. Dude, you see your tits? Like friends of mine who I'm convinced are in the closet, they just love talking about tits. Like they're like, straight guys love tits.
We do. Guilty. Guilty is charged.
Guilty is charged.
With the tits. I don't know. Anytime I've ever heard a guy talk about tits, I've been like, he's just like me. You know? That guy. I thought maybe he was gay, but he said tits and it was open and shut case.
Hilarious.
My question is, if you are gay and you're that worried about it, then just for this time period, while the government is tracing your phone, don't go to a gay nightclub.
Right. Right.
Is that a very insensitive thing to say, though? Like, am I saying don't live your life as you want to?
Yeah, so this is the thing. Maybe they thought that now it was all set and now they could go live their life again, because it's amazing how that's kind of like what it feels like even here. And here it's terrible. I mean, I'm on Long Island where it's one of the epicenters of the world. And people feel like now, since things are getting better, that they can just be normal again. I mean, in Korea, literally, like you said, there were days of no cases happening.
Yeah.
So people maybe felt now it's time. Like Germany, the same shit happened. Like they eased stuff and then the whatever variable thing that they measure it with went up and then they had to shut everything down. So maybe I think that what you're saying is true though. Like chill with the gay club. If you're in secret, like maybe just like use a gay dating app and try to get somebody to come over. And that's why you don't have to go out in public or something. I don't know.
It's tough though, because then you have to mention that, okay, like presumably straight nightclubs are open, right? And why would those people be allowed to go? If those people are allowed to go, then why wouldn't a gay person feel like they could be allowed to go?
Right. No, I mean, I guess if you feel like you can go out. But like you said, I'm sure that like maybe there are people who are more cautious who chose not to go that night. Yeah. And then they're like, see?
Dude, let me tell you something. I am so envious of gay nightlife. Gay. I wish I were gay for the nightlife.
It's really fun.
Gay nightclubs look incredible. Incredible. You got guys with their shirts off. Everyone's having a great time. Every straight nightclub that I've ever been to is kind of like an elevated, shittier version of a middle school dance.
Yeah, you're right.
Where like the women are very standoffish and sitting on one side, not wanting dudes to talk to them. And then the guys are over there and there's not much commingling. There's not much. I mean, some are better than others, some clubs, but like it's all about money and status and be seen.
Totally.
From my understanding, a lot of gay nightclubs, it is just the world's most fun dance party.
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying, man. Like at nightclubs, at straight nightclubs or whatever, you have to sort of bring your crew with you. Like it's very hard to just go there and like start mingling and meeting people once you're there. You know what I mean? And like you said, like it's a status thing. Cause like, if you don't have a table or whatever, it makes it much harder too. And that's expensive and it's just stressful, hard to get in. I don't know. The gay experience, as far as nightlife goes, definitely sounds appealing.
It's better, right?
I don't know it that well. I've gone to like a few spots here and there, like with friends.
Have you?
Yeah.
Have you gone to nightclubs or bars?
Like drag shows and bars.
That sounds fun.
Not necessarily nightclubs, I guess, but drag shows are the best, dude.
Tell me about what a drag show is like.
Well, it's just like drag queens dancing and singing, getting everybody pumped up.
Are they lip syncing or are they singing?
They usually sing. I think, as far as from what I've seen, and also like there's certain, like they love Lady Gaga. Maybe it's because Lady Gaga has like a lower register, but there's a lot of like rah, rah happening. It's so fucking fun, dude. It's really great.
I believe it. And I'm picturing the scene where Bradley Cooper meets Lady Gaga in A Star Is Born, because that was at a gay burlesque club.
Oh yeah, that's a great scene.
It is a great scene. Yeah. And you're like, this woman really hasn't been discovered? Are you fucking kidding me? With that voice? Get the fuck out of here. So, okay. the cabaret, or I guess it's like the drag clubs, right? And then what happens when, you know, do you get approached, and are you an asshole for being like, hey, I'm not interested, I'm into women?
Yeah, you're a massive asshole for doing that, because it's not about, there's nothing sexual happening. Like, it's a fun game, you know what I mean? Like,
No.
the drag queen.
I mean, if another person there is interested in you and they approach you.
So I don't know that, like, that doesn't really happen, dude. Like, I'm again, I'm not an expert, but like this situation where you're just backed into a corner by somebody with a different sexual orientation than you as the straight guy and making you, like, that situation doesn't really like seem to arise. That seems like the stereotypical straight man's fear. I'm not saying that you're saying that was your fear, but like this idea of like gay people like trying to, you know, I have never felt in any way uncomfortable in those kind of places ever when it comes to stuff like that.
I guess for me, it's not a fear so much as I wouldn't want to offend anyone. And what I mean by that is like, okay, let's say that I show up to a gay bar with some friends and a guy comes up and he's like, hey, my name's so-and-so, you know, can I buy you a drink? Like, what's your phone number or something? And
Bro,
I'm like,
think about that. That doesn't happen.
Dude, I've been approached by.
Can I buy you a drink?
Before.
What's your phone number? What's your phone number?
Whatever. Some iteration of that. Like where at some point I have to be like, I'm sorry, I'm not interested. I'm straight, or like I'm straight, or whatever.
Right. You could also just be like, I'm not interested. Not to be annoying, but like it doesn't have to be, you know, like I'm sure plenty of gay guys get approached that aren't into the gay guy that's hitting on them, and they kind of just make it. You just make it obviously you're not interested. It doesn't have to be this whole like. You know,
yeah, I love that you're gay-splaining to me. By the way,
you're asking me, dude.
Well, I am.
I'm not
an
expert.
No, I know. But my question is, okay, let's say at some point, some scenario where I have to be like, I'm sorry, you know, I'm not into men,
right?
And because that would happen. I'm not just going to like stiff arm every dude and be like, no, I'm the king of this place. Like none of you meet my criteria.
Right. I mean, listen, I think that there's a way to squash that situation without making it completely awkward. The same way that like, if a drunk girl is like trying to hit on you, and again, I know this is sounding annoying of me, but like, you don't have to be like, hey man, listen, I just want you to know I'm straight. Like that never needs to come out of your mouth.
Yes.
I know how,
okay.
Yeah, exactly. Chris said, say, yeah, I'm taken, or there's a million things you could say to make it not awkward.
Okay.
But I know sometimes those drunk gay guys can be a little aggressive.
Handsy. Yes.
I get that.
Yes, that's what happens.
But like, you know, I don't know. I feel like there's ways to navigate around it without being like, hey man, like, or even just like, hey,
yeah,
I'm straight.
Okay. So you don't have to reveal your sexual orientation. Whatever. The point is, if I were to say that, right, then I would feel like a total asshole because I'm in a gay club or a gay bar where the presumption is that everyone is into members of the same sex.
I don't think there's that presumption personally, but okay.
Okay.
And I think that's your mistake, maybe.
Well, I guess my point would be like, isn't that kind of like if you went on a speed dating thing and you ran into a girl and you were like, hi, so what's your name? What do you do for work? And she was like, no, I'm sorry, I'm in a relationship. And you're like, well, then what the fuck are you doing here?
I don't think so. No, I don't think that you're going to a gay club to try to hook up. Like, I don't think that it's not the same. It's not like a speed dating. It's not like, you know what I mean? It's not like you're there under the assumption that because you're there, it means you're trying to get down. I don't think that is necessarily a thing.
Got it. Okay. All right.
I don't know. But for the sake of this discussion, I think that, like, you know, maybe this is a fun thing, dude. We should hit the gay club. And
I've always wanted to go to a gay bar. Absolutely. I absolutely have always wanted.
You've never been to one?
I've never been to, no. I think I went to one that was like half and half once.
Right.
So it was like not, there were a lot of straight people there. Men, women hooking up, but then also there was like a preponderance of gay men such that it was hard to know. You know what I mean? Maybe it was just like a gay hot spot, but it was not under the banner of being a gay club.
Right. Right.
But I've always wanted to go. I just think it's such an interesting thing. I would love to experience it.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's like, it's fun for sure.
Oh boy. Well, all right. We'll have to figure that out. We have plenty of gay friends that would potentially take us. I don't even know if they'd want to take us though.
We got to test the waters.
Yeah. What if you showed up with a woman to a gay club?
It's fine. I've done it before.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Does
Yeah,
everyone look at you like you're an asshole?
No, dude. There's no like weird prejudice against anybody in the, you know what I mean? Like these are notoriously accepting venues.
I feel like you and I are looking at totally different gay clubs. We have a totally, the ones you've been to sound like lovely, accepting places, and the ones that I've seen and researched and whose Yelp reviews I've read hours into the night are very aggressive and angry places.
No, man, it's fucking, it's all good.
Yeah. All right. Well, what do you got? What's going on with you?
Dude, I've just been sitting here thinking about fantasizing about being handed millions of dollars for doing nothing and not deserving it.
Oh. What
Like
a classic millennial fucking waste of time. This is what every millennial does. I mean, we all do this. You know how many times I've thought well, just the right lottery ticket. My problem is that I'm not buying lottery tickets. That's my problem. I'm not even throwing my hat in the ring. I need to change my attitude.
Dude, every time I'm in a place where they're selling lottery tickets, when I'm about to buy one, I see this line and I just see the people in line, and then I hear them being like, dollar box, straight dollar. Like, I'm like, how, this person clearly never wins.
They're like, yeah, I'll take 6 reds let's do the daily day double. And then last week we were close. They know the guy by name, and you're like, oh, this is sad.
Dude, when I used to work in real estate, I had this guy who worked with us who did all the Chinese markets. He was this Chinese guy. And I forget his name. He was a very nice guy, though. And I remember we were in a convenience store, and there was people lining up for the lottery. And I was like, those people are fucking idiots. I said something rude like that. And he just looked at me and he went, $1 for hope? Sounds like a pretty good deal to me. I was like, that is profound and beautiful, dude. I'm such an asshole.
That guy has taught many a sword master in his life, many
Eastern
generations
philosophy.
of But dude, my thought is I have this crazy thought where I don't buy the lottery tickets like the Powerball and the whatnot, because I have this fear that if I were to win, everyone would hate me so much because I didn't need that money.
Do you have to announce that you won?
No, someone did it recently where they maintained their anonymity, and everyone was furious about it. And people were trying to figure out who it was, and there was all kinds. I think it was a woman, and I think she sued the lottery company to make sure she could maintain her anonymity.
I think about this all the time. And that's really nice to know, because if I won, I would tell nobody, and I would say that back during the cryptocurrency boom, I cashed out for an extremely large sum of money.
And you've just been living as a gazillionaire all this time without having told any of us?
Correct. And I feel like I could pull it off.
How do you explain the intervening years between you cashing out of the cryptocurrency and now all of a sudden you being rich?
I would say that there was a tax issue because the tax code's so complicated for crypto, so that a lot of my funds were frozen. And that after years in the courts, finally everything settled, and I would, I wouldn't be a moron, dude. I wouldn't just start buying. The problem with people who win the lottery is that they feel like they're so lucky that they deserve to share the luck with everybody. And that's not true. You got lucky. You won. You don't have to buy every relative you have a fucking Lamborghini. You know what I mean?
Right.
Well, dude, I have this fantasy about I hear these urban legends. A friend of mine told me that this happened on some Middle Eastern TV station. I don't believe it, but apparently some Saudi prince was on a talk show, and they're like, "How did you become so wealthy?" And I don't know. I mean, I guess he would have already been wealthy because he's a prince. Maybe he wasn't a prince. I don't remember specifically what the guy did, but he's like, I worked hard and I took opportunities when they arose. He's like, for example, he's like, if I write this check right now for any amount of money, he's like, here's a blank check. Whoever wants this right now could come get it or something. And apparently one of the cameramen sprinted on stage and took the check, and it was a blank check. And he goes, you can fill that out for any amount that you want. It will clear tomorrow. He's like, this is how I got rich. Like, taking opportunities when they arose. And like, I just fantasize about being that cameraman, dude.
Yeah. I've had similar, like a Brinks truck just overturns and the driver dies right in front of me on the highway. And, I just go in and grab bags of gold bars. Maybe call 911 as I'm heading off, but stuff like that happen. I think about that all the time too. I absolutely do. And the problem is that it gets in the way of me putting in the actual work that I need to do to incrementally raise my salary.
Right. I know.
In life.
I know.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it makes me think that my salary is a pittance and that it's just not a factor compared to the massive windfall that awaits me, someday soon.
Totally, man. I mean, the day that, hopefully, let's say one day I have $5 million, $10 million. To me right now, in my low net worth individual brain, that seems like enough. I don't need to try to make that 100 and then try to get into politics. And then there's something about that personality that like they just can't stop. And you hear all these stories of people, like I was just watching a thing about affordable housing and how like to get these bids, these people do all this illegal shit. And like there has to be a high percentage of high net worth individuals who've done illegal shit.
Absolutely.
Just so competitive.
Yeah. And, there's all these Cayman Island offshore accounts, ways that people work around finding tax shelters and all of that. So even if they're not like beating people up with crowbars in parking garages, they're manipulating the system in their favor.
Right.
Absolutely the case. But I do think that, you're right. I think that people, it's never enough because there's always a guy ahead of you who's making more. Like your lens changes.
Yeah. And then you need the next challenge. It's kind of like Jordan, dude. Like when Jordan was like, I had nothing else to accomplish. So it was time I needed a new goal. You know what I mean? Like that motivation. Mm-hmm. And I know you're reading about the oligarchs, like those, I noticed at least the ones who fell from grace with the state were the ones who challenged the state. Like the Khodorkovsky and the Guzinski, like all of them across the board.
Yes.
They tried, being rich wasn't enough.
Yeah.
Now they need to do politics. You know what I mean? And it's like, I'd be fine, dude.
Dude, you know who's one of the most fascinating people in Russian politics is Kasparov.
Oh yeah, the chess player,
he was like the best chess player in the world. And by the way, the Russians are very good at chess. Speaking of which, I've gotten really into chess.
Really?
I play it on my phone nonstop.
No way.
Yeah, I retired to my childhood bedroom and just play chess for hours.
Awesome,
and my girlfriend is like, I don't know where he is. And I'm playing chess on my phone against Bulgarians.
Chess is cool. Have you heard of sex?
No time for that. No time for that. Dude, the best part though is that I don't know what it's called, a chess app or something. You can chat with the people that you're playing against. And they always have the flag from the country that they're from. And so I've played people from Hungary, Turkey, Romania, all these places. Cool. And everyone chats in English.
Oh, cool.
And so sometimes on very few occasions, I will get a Bulgarian dude talking shit to me in broken English about how he's going to whoop my ass in chess.
You are a piece of shit.
Yeah. I think someone called me a cracker the other day. He's like, I'm the king of chess. I beat you, cracker motherfucker. And I beat him in like 22 moves. Like it wasn't
wow.
a full game. It was just like, he was terrible. So
You must be pretty good if you're playing on the app.
I'm solid. What's good is that like I've played enough games now where my rating, your rating, you get points if you win, you lose points if you lose, and so my rating is kind of evened out. So I'm mostly just playing against people that are similar to my level. Whereas before, when I first started out, I think you started out with like an 1,000 rating, and the people at that level were just like, I was losing like 8 out of 9 games.
Oh wow.
So now I'm on the rise because I'm learning the game better. Dude, it's fun. Do you ever play chess?
I've played a bit. Yeah, I'm not like very into it or whatever, but I'm like, okay. I'm like below the level of like knowing a certain strategy. You know what I mean? I know how to do everything, and like I'm okay. Yeah. I can beat my cousin, but like I'm sure you would whoop me.
Well, I've started watching YouTube explanations of like famous matches that were played. Cool. And it's always Russian guys that are breaking it down. And so they've got the computerized game board, and they're like, okay, so then Kasparov did this, and this is what made this move so beautiful. It's like, and you're like, oh yeah, I see it. It is beautiful. That's yeah. Sick. So it's pretty cool. Dude, the greatest chess player in the world right now is a guy named Magnus Carlsen. Have you heard of this guy?
Is he Swedish?
He's either Swedish or Norwegian or Danish.
Okay. Whatever. Yeah, one of the three.
Yeah, Scandinavian. Watch him be from Finland. So, dude, he was like the best in the world when he was like 19 years old. And if you watch some of the like stuff that he comes up with on YouTube, I mean, it's all like queen sacrifices to envision a scenario unfolding 9 moves after that.
Wow.
And I mean, it's just,
it's exceptional.
You realize why, like, yeah, why these guys are celebrities, you know?
Are you ever going to play in Washington Square Park?
I've played in Union Square, and I beat the guy.
Oh, wow. Nice.
And it made me lose in them.
Oh, and those guys.
I was just like, wait, this is checkmate. What happened here? You're not good. It was like a terrible moment. It would be like stepping on the court at Rucker Park as a white dude who doesn't play basketball and all of a sudden dropping like 38 points.
Just whooping everyone.
And being like, God. I thought this was where Stephen Marbury grew up. Like, what?
Well, dude, that reminded me of something. Pavich, one of our friends, he talks about this openly. We should maybe have him on sometime and have him talk about this. There's ways you can tell that he's going through a bipolar episode. Or like a manic episode. Yeah. And one of them is that he will show up to the Cage, which is like a famous street basketball venue, in regular clothes and play. And it requires like a certain overt confidence that you have when you're in a manic state to show up in plain clothes and play in these intense games.
You're talking about like blue jeans?
Yes, and a T-shirt.
Ugh,
and he'll go and play these games, dude. And it's so, and we laugh about it. Obviously, it's so sad for him that he has to go through this. But as his friends, we know that there's ways that he's going through something. That's one. Another is if he starts rapping, if he's rapping a lot, and also if he's wearing hats. Something about hats. He never wears hats. But if he's wearing a hat, you're like, oh boy. Like I'll get a text being like, Pavich is like going through it.
Dude, you know that because of TikTok, their video which you were in of Coincidence has had a complete renaissance. I mean, a multiple waves of like rebirth.
And for those of you who don't know what we're talking about, it's the song that goes, wow, you can really dance.
Wow, 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 wow.
So
wow.
James Manzello and Matt Pavich made that video. And James Manzello is the guy who made the Hello, I'm a Mr. Julio video.
Yes.
You guys
yes.
enjoyed. So they're two funny guys.
Do you think that those two guys, in making a video that has been a worldwide viral sensation going on however many, 5+ years now?
Yeah.
Do you think that they struggle with chasing the success of that one video?
I'm not sure. We should ask them about it because I imagine there must be some kind of mind fuckery associated with that.
When they made that and when you made that, did you guys know instantly this is a hit?
So it's funny. James James kind of prepared for this to be a big production. He still did it for like, I think close to no money. Like I think favors and this and I'm not, don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure like close to no money for how high budget value it looks like.
Yeah, it looks like a real music video.
So it was the project where it's like they put their most resources into it. So it must have been gratifying for them that it became the thing that was a viral sensation. But James has also said to me that it's disheartening that he could have potentially made that go viral off of the 10-second clip of, wow, you can really dance, and have shot it on his iPhone and not had to like do the hours and hours of pre and post production and like all the hard work and focus that went into making that video such a masterpiece. He feels like it could have been done just as effectively for viral purposes on a cell phone.
I don't agree with him on that.
I don't either. I think that's a negative viewpoint.
That's ridiculous because there's no guarantee that him saying, wow, you could really dance would then make that would make it viral.
Totally. Those two were made some incredible.
It was the full cake that they baked that made that everything leading up to it, and especially the first time the chorus drops and they start doing the dance.
I know.
That made that so good.
During the first wave, they got an email from Taiwan of a video of a professional basketball game where the team at halftime was doing the dance to the song in the arena for the fans, and everyone was going nuts. And they're like, hey, your song's huge here. Can you like come and do a car commercial for us? For like one of their big and they like went and got paid a ton and like they made a song, the same song, but a version for the commercial.
Yeah. I mean, these are the types that like, so then that doesn't happen without the whole video.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. So,
what I wanted to ask you something, but I don't remember what it was.
Well, dude, this is random, but it always throws me for like a curveball when I'm watching the news and like the person say it's the BBC and the person has like a full British accent, but then they like talk about something from another country and they say it in like the most hardcore accent where it's like off-putting. Like, for example, they'll be like, later on the program, we go to the Middle East where we interview Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. I'm just like, what the fuck?
Dude,
where did this come from?
It's the BBC, though, I think. I think British reporters specifically have a way of saying foreign names that is very jarring, you know?
Which is better. Is it because like UK is so much more of like a global, it's so much more globally interconnected than New York, for example?
I don't know. Have you spent time in England?
A little bit, yeah. I've probably been 4 or 5 times.
I like England a lot. I really do.
London's intimidating because it's so expensive.
It is. You say that, but like, dude, New York is how different is New York in terms of it being expensiveness?
All right, I haven't been to London in a few years, so maybe the gap has grown closer with the currency. But I've just felt like by the time I get to my hotel in the UK, like my money for the trip's gone already.
Yes. I think there's truth to that. And by the way, I would put Oslo, Norway, even ahead of London as the most expensive place I've ever been.
It's, dude, I ate at 7-Eleven every meal. Dude,
7-Eleven, I went in, they had a Snapple juice it converted to $11 US.
Yeah, it's outrageous.
At a 7-Eleven. Now, this brings up a great point, though, which is sometimes I'll check in on my credit card balance on a daily basis right now because it's the most uplifting moment of my day. Have we talked about this?
Oh, yeah. You know, I've been checking it because I pay it every fucking day.
Oh, that's right. We did talk about this.
But not from this angle. Keep going. What were you saying?
Dude, I'm spending so little money that I feel like I'm in college again. Where like you had a credit card from your parents for emergencies, right. But you actually only used it for emergencies. Like,
right.
And you felt so guilty spending any money, and like you'd pick up a little. I remember I used to I ran the scoreboard for softball games at Harvard for like a few games in the spring, and made, like $200-$300, and like that was my spending money for the entire spring semester.
Right.
It's
Totally
insane. My credit card bill last month was below $1,500 for the first time probably since I was like 22 years old.
Dude, that deserves a golf clap.
1,500, and I don't mean to like put people off if that's a big number for them, but to spend less than $1,500 in a month when you're somebody who lives in New York City is unfathomable.
Agreed. And you're only using your credit card exclusively to buy shit, right?
Yeah, I don't have cash.
Yeah.
I'm not typing into dirty, riddle ATM machines right now.
But just to clarify, that to show people that in fact that is not a high number for New York. $1,500 a month on your credit card, if you're only using your credit card, is not a high number.
Yeah, and
it's not crazy.
I think it's exceptionally low, and I think I was even closer to like under 1,000. The only reason I was above 1,500 was because I gave a donation to the stand.
Oh, very nice.
And that like got me up above, in that realm. But in terms of what I'm not buying anything. What is it? And I told my friends this. They were like, dude, it's your fault. You're not buying enough. You're hurting the economy. You're the type of person. I mean, they were kidding, but like they're all talking about the stuff they're buying. And a lot of them are still in New York. So they're ordering food on a regular basis. That's where you get your
totally.
But like what should I buy? I need to buy something.
You don't need to buy shit, dude. Save your money.
I don't like it. It's boring. I want something to look forward to. I want to like run up to the mailbox and be like, oh, because it's not here yet. Wondering every day, like, is today the day? Is it going to come?
You could buy some stuff, man. I mean, listen, on those days where you're feeling down, like think about what would cheer you up and fucking order it, I guess.
I need new pants. I only have 3 pairs and my girlfriend's no longer attracted to me. Dude, I am so, my outfits are so boring. They all fit. Everything fits. Yeah. But like, I'm not even putting my clothes away anymore. I just lay them out on the bed.
Dude, same. My clothes are literally just lying on a fucking bench right now.
It's just a waste of time because I only have like 3 full outfits to wear. So why fold them and put them away?
I know. There's something like disheartening about, like, it's amazing. There are really some random positives to this whole thing. If people are trying to find positives, and the whole not spending as much money thing for me has been really nice as well. Like, I feel like even though my career has appeared to be completely stalled and I have no hope for the future, at least like I'm not burning the candle on both ends financially,
You say that, but our podcast is picking up some steam here.
Thank God. And thank you all. Again, we've thanked you before, but this is really keeping me going. So I appreciate all of you guys.
Yeah, this is the highlight. This is the highlight so far of the quarantine, I would say.
Absolutely, dude.
Yeah. Well, you got any final thoughts? Do we have anything from the readers that we wanted to share today?
Yeah, I guess we could talk about one thing. Somebody sent us an interesting would you rather. And It just reminded me that making an effective would you rather is very difficult. And it should not be underestimated. So let me find this real quick. But it's true. All right. Would you rather, 1, be extremely wealthy and happy for the rest of your life, but never have sex again? Or have the best sex of your life every day for the rest of your life, but struggle financially for the rest of your life? And I would argue it's impossible to have the best sex of your life if you're in constant financial peril.
Yeah. Yeah. And I also think we need to clarify what we mean by, financial peril and financial uncertainty, right?
Right.
Like if you're talking about like not knowing where your next meal is coming from.
Right.
Yeah. It's tough to be like, I'm starving, but I'm about to get my nut on, yeah, here comes my hard 10 babe who just wants it all the time.
Yeah.
Even though I have nothing to offer.
Right. I'm just such a bad boy with nothing.
Yeah.
She's just turning her on.
She can't, she left her life of riches and support from her family to come to me and live in these rags because of my dick.
Yeah,
She couldn't resist it. Sacrificed it all just because I know how to get her off. That's impossible. It's ridiculous.
It's impossible one. The first part of it, I guess, is a realistic enough question. But yeah, I would argue that you can't have the best sex of your life if you're struggling financially. Like, you might be poor, but that doesn't mean that you're struggling. If you're poor and happy being poor and you have a nice poor wife and you guys have nice poor sex, that's not necessarily struggling in my mind. Like, struggle implies it has a depression attached to it.
Yeah, I mean, well, here's the question though. How many poor people do you know who are like, yeah, you know, my life sucks, but I'm having the best sex ever. I just can't, it'd be so, if thank God we're having sex so much. I don't know anybody like that.
Yeah, same. And I think that, like, once you get into adulthood, it's really hard to be having good sex with no money.
Yeah.
In every way. Like, you know what I mean? It's just really fucking hard.
Yeah, and not for nothing, like, even if you think if you're poor, even if you think you're having good sex, like, I guarantee you it could be better if you had money.
I feel like that's definitely true. Yeah. The days of, like, girls being impressed by your late game heroics in the high school baseball game, those days are over. You know what I mean? If you're a professional baseball player, you're fucking making money. And that, you know, I know this is maybe sounding a little cynical, but at the very least, you got to have a little bit of something so that you can take your mind off of your misery to fuck a little.
Yeah. Well said. You've seen the Crazy Hot Matrix, right? That YouTube video?
No.
Oh man. It's the presentation by that guy who's like a former cop, or he is a cop, where he just draws on the whiteboard. It's one of the most rudimentary YouTube videos I've ever seen, but it went kind of viral, where he explains the breakdown of, like, crazy and hot.
Oh, like crazy hot.
I'll send it to you after this. We'll talk about it on our next episode.
Cool.
It's very, very funny, but it speaks to all of this. Any final thoughts?
Yeah, that's it, man. Just let's keep our heads up and fucking hope for better times.
Indeed. Thanks for joining us on Oops the Podcast, everybody. Please send your thoughts and your jokes and fun stories from quarantine or from life to oopsthepodcast@gmail.com. You can also DM them to our Instagram account @oopsthepodcast. I'm Francis Ellis. He's Giulio Gallerati. Thanks as ever for listening. We'll see you soon. Yeah.
Thank you.